Well, the holiday season is rapidly approaching and we skated by most of summer with some very minimal makeup looks, you know, some no makeup looks, some slightly elevated everyday makeup looks, and now it's time to pick up the pencils again. But don't be intimidated by creating a holiday soft glam look for your more mature skin, because today I'm going to walk you through everything that you need to know to create a look very similar to this. It is a soft glam look, but it looks very elevated from what I've been rocking all summer. You don't need to go buy a bunch of new products for this either, you guys. If you want to know what products I'm using, I will talk about them throughout the way and they'll all be linked down below. But really look at the products that you already have and know that at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you how to take this look from more of a fall soft glam to pop up some color to get you through the holidays. So it's all here for you. Settle in. Let's get ready together because that's what we do here. If we haven't met before, hi, I'm Jody. I'm 55. Think of me as your midlife beauty bestie, where we are just navigating, yes, all of the things that come with getting older. We don't talk a lot about, you know, the other things like the way the whole body changes, because I'm not an expert in that. This channel is all about helping us navigate, you know, skin changing, the way the makeup sits on the face differently, what shadows and shades look better as we age, what formulas, creams, powders, all that. We're gonna get into all that today and have some fun getting ready together. I'm excited about this look because I haven't done a semi-glam look in a while with you guys, so this will be fun. And yes, we're doing a little something different with the hair, so we'll have to see how the whole look comes together. All right, I already have some hydration on my face. I'm using the Laura Geller Spackle Hydrating Primer because I am using a more full coverage foundation, and it does have silica because it is, well, it just does, because most full coverage or long wear or semi-matte foundations do, and it has a tendency to be more drying on the skin. So hydrating primer first, already on my skin, and now we're gonna go in with this. This is the Super Stay 30 Hour by Maybelline. I have it in shade 112. I am going to put it on with the Nikki LaRose in 20 after I put it on the back of my hand first, about 2 pumps. This Nikki LaRose in 20 is a fantastic brush, especially for those of us with more mature skin, because it's not so large that you just make a mess everywhere, because messes are harder to clean up the older we get. So I like to put my foundation everywhere on the perimeter of my face where I have less movement, less wisdom lines, because wherever you put that product first, that's where the majority of it is going to stay. And then I will bring it in to the more high movement wrinkle area, wisdom line area. I think 112 is probably just a little bit too light for me, but that's okay. We can darken this up with some nice bronzer and a little bit of contour. So if you like a little darker, I know you guys are probably like in shock right now that I'm not using the Complexion Crush by Ulta Beauty. And I'm not using it for a few reasons. One, because I use it all the time and you guys know how much I love it. But if I used the same product every single time, you're gonna go, gosh, Jody, I don't need to watch your videos because I already know what you're gonna say. So I do like to try other products. That's the one reason. The other reason is because I know many of you watch from around the world and Ulta is not available everywhere. So I wanna show you products that you can find in your area, or at least have a better chance of finding them than some that I know for a fact you're not gonna be able to get. Now today's look is gonna be a combination of what I call a high-low. I have some of my favorite products in this lineup, so they're not all high-end, they're not all drugstore, they just happen to be the ones that I like because of how well they work. If you're interested in these products, they're all listed down below in the description box. Just hit that more button and it will take you to all of the products that I'm using. I'm not gonna spend a ton of time highlighting every product, because many of you have products that work well for you. This is gonna be more about a technique and application video, but again, if you want to know more about these products, that's where you can find them. All right, so I have on my foundation. Next, I'm gonna go in with my concealer. You guys know I have been loving this Revitalized by RMS. I've already hydrated well underneath my eyes, and I'm just gonna put a little bit on the back of my hand. And because this is a soft glam look, I wanna brighten up this area. You'll see I'm gonna take it with my fingers and just lightly go up through that temple area. And then what's left, I'm gonna go real light underneath where I have some discoloration. Just the smallest amount is really all you need. I like this concealer because it is medium coverage and it is a satin finish, so I don't get a dry matte finish. This foundation is more of a soft matte foundation, which is why I like more of a satin concealer so that I don't look dry or matte everywhere, especially under this eye area. I like that to look more hydrated, a little more youthful, and that comes from more of a satin finish. This does have a brush on it, so you can go right in underneath your eyes if you want. I don't necessarily always do that, especially if I'm trying to be a little more careful with my lines. I like to just add a little bit right through here because you'll notice that as we get older, this little corner of your nose starts to look more shadowed because we're losing collagen, and just a little bit of concealer right there on my more mature face has made that part look more full and less sunken in. And then right up through here, I just like to give the appearance of these outer corners of my mouth going a little bit more in an upward position. And then whatever's left on my fingers, I'll just dot on my chin and down my nose. Now I'm gonna give my concealer a little bit of time to do some settling. I'll go back and correct that before we set it with powder. And now I'm gonna go in, so I'm not wasting time, and do a little bit of contour. I have a receding hairline as I get older. I like my hairline to come a little more forward. I'm gonna go really lightly on my cheekbones. If you wanna create a cheekbone, start your finger, roll it underneath your cheekbone, and then take a stick. If you don't have a contour stick, then just look for a neutral brown eyeshadow, and that will do the same thing. This is the Lifter Stick by Maybelline in shade 35. But again, I'm using cream products because I think they're more flattering on mature skin, but you can absolutely use powder if you don't have a cream contour stick. I'm gonna pick up the Nikki LaRose N17 and just blend this down around my jawline just to give a little bit more of a snatched jawline. You can see how well that angle brush works along your cheekbones to blend out that contour. You really wanna leave that contour on the side of your face with just a little bit coming as your face turns. You don't want to see your face straight on and see that contour. The contour should really be off to the sides. And then up here, just gonna blend that out. I really like this Lifter Stick by Maybelline. See how well that blends out? And keep in mind, that's blending out after it's been sitting for a few minutes and under some studio lighting, which causes it to get drier faster. Still no problem, it dries out really nicely. You can always add a darker shade contour if you like, but as I've gotten older, I've gone more for a contour that is about one shade darker than my foundation. The only time that's not the case is if I'm going to undersculpt, and that means put on my contour and then my foundation. The reason I didn't do it that way today is because this is more of a full coverage foundation. If you are going to undersculpt, where you put your contour, your blush, your bronzer, your highlighter on first, you want to use like a tinted moisturizer, a tinted serum, or even a more sheer foundation, because then you'll see that undersculpting come through. But because this is a full coverage, if we were to put this on over all of our underpainting or undersculpting, it really wouldn't show through. But I like a more full coverage foundation. That's what led to the order of the products today. Don't be afraid to add some structure to your face with a contour stick. Again, start with the forehead. It's usually the easiest area. And then your cheekbones don't have to be hard either. Just find where your cheekbone is. And like I said, start underneath, because you're creating a shadow as if that cheekbone is sticking out and there's a shadow underneath it. Very simple to do, just takes a little bit of practice. All right, now that our concealer has set, I'm gonna go back in and see where it's set into any fine lines and wrinkles and just press that out. Because when you wash your clothes and you put them in the dryer with the stain on them, you have set the stain. Same process here. When you have set these under eyes with powder, whatever creasing has happened, you've just ensured it's gonna stay. All right, now I'm going to use the one size. This is in light. This is called the Bounce Silk. This is a newer one for me. I have liked this one. I'm gonna use this in one of my, in fact, you'll see this in one of my favorites videos. Just gonna tap a little bit between my fingers. I don't use much powder at all to set my under eye concealer, because inevitably, if I use too much, I will know it as soon as I get in the car, look in the mirror, and it looks like a road map underneath my eyes. Have you guys had that happen? It's just not, it's not a fun look. All All right, so now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of bronzer. This is the Soft Blurring Bronze in Straightforward by Hung Van Gogh. This was not, none of this stuff was sent to me, by the way. I am just using it because I like it. I'm gonna go in with the Nikki LaRose in 18 brush. This is more of a fan shape. This is great for going over that cream product that you used your contour, but also it's wide enough to give me more of a natural bronze look. So it's kind of a 2-in-1 coverage for me. I go over my contour to set it, but then it also, because of that shape, works really nicely as a bronzer brush. A key to a mature makeup look when it is more full glam and you want it to last, you want to lock that look in place, is you do want to use powder over any creams. But the key to powder on more mature skin is precision. You want to use brushes that put that powder in certain areas, but not everywhere, because you don't need powder everywhere on more mature skin. That's where you start to get that settling, that real dry, crepey look, is when you've put powder in areas that maybe you don't need. For blush, I'm going to use the new Color Luxe Liquid Blush by Jane Iredale. This is in Sweet Jane, and Jane Iredale is sweet. I met her, she's phenomenal. And this is Sugar Magnolia. I should do a live stream because this is where I would need you guys to say, all right, use that one or use this one. Sugar Magnolia and Sweet Jane. I think I'm gonna go with Sweet Jane today. I've been using Heartbreaker and Sugar Magnolia in a few tutorials already. So let's just go in with Sweet Jane, since this is a fall and it's glam. So, you know, with glam, you wanna glam it up a little bit. The thing about these Color Luxe liquid blushes is you can dial them down for more of a day look, or you can really turn up the color and add, they're buildable. So you can add more color to it to get that evening kind of sultry look, which is kind of the look I'm going for tonight because we have an event in town and I want a fall look, but I want it to be a little bit elevated. I'm gonna go with a little bit more blush because why not? These are so easy to work with, you guys. You don't need special tools. You just need your fingers and tap and blend, tap and blend. Now, because this is a fall look and where my cheekbones sit and the overall look that I'm going for, I'm gonna bring that blush just to about the center of my eyes and then run it up and a little bit higher. Somebody asked me recently why I don't put the blush on the apples of my cheeks, and everyone's face is different, and where you like to put your blush really is so dependent on your personal preference. I have found that when I bring my blush too close to my nose, it makes my whole face look wider. And I really noticed this because I was at a Jane Iredale event recently, well, a few months ago, and the makeup artist did my makeup and it was beautiful. But several people commented in that picture that it looked like I had filler in my face. But yet you can see pictures of the day before and the day after he did my makeup that my face looks much thinner. And it's just the way the makeup was placed. And it's not his fault. I said, hey, do whatever you want. I want to learn from you. You do whatever you want. But I just noticed that my face looked a little fuller. If you find that your face is thinning and you want a fuller looking face, then don't contour as much around the edges and bring your blush a little bit more this way, because the more you bring it towards your nose, the more you've got blush going here. So you have more of a horizontal line, making everything look a little wider. I like to bring my blush on my cheekbones and up and away from my face in a nice upward motion. But really, blush is such a personal preference. There's certainly tricks of the trade and some best practices, but it's blush. It really comes down to what you want in your blush look. Now we're gonna do my brows real quick. This is the Volume Brow Pencil by Benefit. I think it's in blonde or taupe. I'll leave it in the description box. But I just want a soft brow look. I don't want real bold brows because, again, it's fall. When creating a glam look, you definitely want a bold brow, but bold can be the size and the shape. It doesn't always have to be the shade. If you are like me and you like a bolder brow, then you might want to just go down a shade in your brow color, because if you have darker brows and bold shape, it can be overbearing to our more mature face. So you want to choose one or the other. So maybe you like a darker brow to show up on your face, but if that's the case, then maybe just don't make it as bold. And what I mean by bold is how long it is and how high or thick it is. But it's all personal preference, and whatever look you like when you head out the door, that's the right look for you. I need to bring out the tail a little bit because my brows have shrunk as I've gotten older. And for the eyes, I'm gonna use the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes, I think these are called. This is in the shade Taupe. Perfect for fall, and you'll see it goes really nice with that Sweet Jane that we have on. And I like, they do dry down to be a little bit of a matte, but they don't dry down and look crepey on our more mature skin. You can put a moisturizer under these if you want. I'm just gonna place them just above my crease ever so slightly and a little bit out, and then at about the halfway mark. So something like that. And I don't think I put concealer on my eyelids, which I normally do, but you don't have to, it's not a big deal. Then you just take your finger, go to your inner corner of your eye and rub it all on my eye, not going all the way to my eyebrow. You want to leave a little bit of a natural looking skin there because it gives a gradual shade change from your lash line up to your brows, which is a more natural look. No one has shadow or shade on their eyes from their eyebrows all the way down to their eyelashes. See how simple these are? They do dry down, but they don't dry down so fast that you have to work with a lot of speed. That you do have some time to play around with it a little bit before you have it locked in place. So don't feel like you've got to take both fingers and go in. I did that the first time and I'm like, what am I in such a hurry for? I don't need these two. They're not gonna dry down so fast that I have to move them before I do anything else. So you guys see how easy that is? Really simple look, and you can create a lot of different looks. There are different shades. You can do different shades if you want. We're gonna go with one shade. Next, I wanna add just a little bit of brightness on the inner corner because this is a soft glam look. So I'm gonna pick up my Natasha Denona Eye Sculpt palette. This is in soft. There's only a few shimmer shades in this palette, which is one of the reasons I have been using the heck out of this palette. I'm gonna go in with this lighter shade right here. This is a round fluffy brush. This is the A503. Just gonna take a little bit on the very tip of that. Now you'll notice I'm holding the brush up close because I want really good control over this brush. If I was doing something like an all over powder on my face or an all over powder on my eye, I would hold the brush back here. It's a lighter hand, it's much fluffier, less precision, which sometimes that's what you want. But because I'm working with such a small space, I want good precision, good control, so I'm gonna hold it up close. You can grab a smaller brush for this if you have hooded eyes and you wanna just get in that inner corner. I have a little bit more eyelid space that I need to cover, so I'm gonna go in with a little bit bigger brush. Just in that inner corner. I'm not trying to create a fancy eye look, just a little bit of pop to the eyes. Next, I'm gonna grab a small taper brush. It doesn't have to be tapered. You just want it to be narrow like that. And I'm gonna go back into the Master Mattes by Makeup by Mario. And again, this is in Taupe. It's the same color we put above. I'm gonna pick up that right on the tip. I don't want that shadow on the sides of this brush because we're gonna go in under our eyes. If there is product on the side, then you're gonna get that below your eye where you already have some nice concealer, some nice powder, and it's gonna look really dragged down. So really carefully on the tip of that brush, load the brush up, and then start with the outer corner and just bring that around your lash line to where your lashes stop. If you really wanna glam this up, you can go all the way. I just find that if I bring that under eyeshadow, the darker line that's defining my eye all the way to the corner, I feel like it closes up the look of my eye. Do you guys find that, or do you prefer to bring yours all the way around? I like to just stop right where my lashes stop, but again, no rules in makeup, which makes it so fun for us to get ready together. You can see how that just adds a nice defined under eye area. And if you want this to be darker, you can just wait for this to dry down a little bit and go over it again. Or a better tip for long-lasting under eye products when they're cream like this is to go and set them with an eyeshadow out of a palette that you have. You can use a lighter shade, or if you want to darken it up, you can use a darker shade. And then take your brush and pull it out a little bit so that it is connected to that eyeshadow, the cream eyeshadow that we put up above. And don't worry about that getting messy because we're gonna go back and clean that up. Now, because this is soft glam, we're gonna go in with an eyeliner. You want this to be a waterproof eyeliner. This is the Dior Crayon Eyeliner Waterproof. I really like this one because it is truly waterproof. We're gonna do a little bit of tight lining right at your lashes on the upper lashes, from that outer corner all the way to where your lashes go. Now for me, this is an important step in this look because it gives more of that glam, bold eye look that you're looking for in a soft glam look. And it's flattering on hooded eyes, more mature eyes, droopy eyelids, all the boxes that we check. This look can be pulled off by any of us. Now I'm gonna go in with some mascara. This is a tubing mascara by Thrive Cosmetics. Because this is a tubing mascara, it adds length and volume to my lashes. You could throw on some false lashes here if you wanted to. I'm not gonna add any mascara to my lower lashes, but you absolutely can. I will go back in and do a second layer in just a second. I just wanna do a little bit of cleanup work right now and clean up that eyeshadow in the corner with a nice straight line. Now you can do that cleanup with your fingers like I just showed you, or you can do the cleanup with a brush. I prefer a brush because I like to take what's left on that brush of concealer and just go over and clean up the brows. I'll add a little bit more concealer to that brush just to define the brows a little bit more and give it that glam look. And this brush is Sigma's F70. It's a really nice concealer brush. Now we'll go back in with a second layer of mascara. What do you guys think? Are you doing this look with me with the products that you have? I hope you are. Next, we need to do something with the lips. So I'm gonna use the Terracotta Lip Liner by Jane Iredale. You can see how nice it goes with that blush and that cream eyeshadow that we've used. If you're not sure how to pull a look together, then just pull out the products that you want to use, your lip liner, your blush, your eyeliner, and maybe some of your eyeshadows, and just put them on your hand and go, is that a good color story, or does one of those have the wrong undertone, and how will that look on my face? I do this a lot before I get started to make sure that the shades I want to use look good together. It's kind of like when you put your outfit together in your mind, it looks great, and then you look in the mirror and think, what the heck was I thinking? That shirt does not match at all with anything else I have going on. And sometimes you want a look that doesn't match. So with my pencil, I'm gonna overdraw the bottom lip, but just the center third. Same with the top. I'm gonna fill that in. The reason I leave these outer corners unlined is because I've noticed that the older I get, if I put a darker liner in these corners, it just tends to give this downward, you know, the resting face. That's really noticeable when I put lip liner in these outer corners. So I don't, and I feel like it just gives my lips a more, I don't know, youthful is the wrong word, but a less harsh bend to my lips. Now, if you don't have a lip liner that's that shade that you're looking for, look for a brown eyeliner. Here's one by House Labs. So you can line your lips with an eyeliner, or if you find that it's maybe too dark, this is why I don't use the House Labs eyeliner, you guys, because look at, it's so dry and just chunky. Why don't I even have it in here anymore? I don't have it in here anymore. My point is, if you had a good gel eyeliner that's a more of a brown shade, you can use that as your lip pencil and then just go over it with your lip color and blend it in. It gives a really pretty look, especially when you're looking for a darker, bolder lip for fall. Now I'm gonna go in with Toffee by Maybelline. This is their Lifter Gloss. Maybelline's Lifter line is really, I think, impressive for those of us with more mature skin. And just go over a little bit of gloss. So we're getting pretty close. I feel like my eyes need just a little bit more, so I'm gonna go back in with my eyeliner. And I'm gonna go to this outer corner on top of my lashes, just about like the smallest amount. Just, I think that's really all I need. Just adds a little bit more depth to the lashes and gives my lashes more of a lift look. Not so much of an eyeliner look, but see the difference? And you can see I just went on those I just went above my lashes, little bit of a thick line. And you can see it's just about the width of my pinky, so not much at all. Gives a pretty dramatic look to the lashes. All right, now we want to lock this in place, so I'm going to go in with the Cosas Cloud Set. To set your makeup, you want to hold the spray about 8 to 10 inches and then go in an X and then a T. All right, so the final thing is this hair of mine, so let me go get this out of clips, do a little something with it, and I'll be right back to share with you the final look. All right, you guys, I think we're done. I felt like my lips were a little bit too bright, so I added the Makeup by Mario South Shore, which has been one of my favorite. I love my truest favorite combination, I don't have the lip liner in here, is this South Shore by Makeup by Mario and the Spice Lip Liner by Jane Iredale. That's been my go-to all fall, and I don't really see me changing that. It's kind of like my nails. I'm just gonna rock it as long as I can. I felt like my lips needed a little tone down. Well, there's our soft glam look for more mature skin. Now you can wear this all the way through the holidays. You can also liven this up a little bit more by adding a gold shimmer where we added that more light shimmer. And that little pop of gold will really scream holidays. You can add a little bit of gold highlight right on top of the cheeks, and then lips are always fun to play with come the holidays. All right, you guys, that does it for me. As always, everything will be linked down in the description box below, but this is more about where to put the color, the placement, and the techniques. But if you're looking for product suggestions, those are always linked down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to hit that hype button because that's a new thing that YouTube has added. And so yeah, I need to ask you to do it because if you hype it, the more hypes it gets, the more it kind of gets in this bubble and the YouTube algorithm puts it in front of other people that might be searching looks for mature skin, holiday looks, fall glam looks, you know, all the buzzwords that brought you to me today. So I want to help this video get in front of other women that might be looking for a similar look. That does it for me today, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in just a couple days. Bye-bye.